When it came to former offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, it seemed as almost everybody had quite gotten over the fact that he had left the Lions for the Bears. But yesterday at the scouting combine, he made yet another twist of the knife that just brought it back to center stage. We're going to talk about it, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5 end zone touchdown Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. Folks, I'm going to tell you something right now. If there's one thing I wish I would never have to talk about unless we were actually playing the damn Bears, it would be Benedict Johnson. Or as he is truly known as, Ben Johnson. The reason why I'm saying that is because yet another chapter in the saga of Ben Johnson being the traitor extraordinaire to the Detroit Lions has now decided to rear its ugly head. Because just when it seemed, we'd kind of moved past the drama of Johnson, we'd moved past him, plotting to leave early, recruiting all these new coaches and all this other stuff, it was like, okay. It seemed like we had just gotten past all that. It's like, okay, whatever, move on. But now, he now opens this new chapter and now kind of joins another coach of becoming the term what I would like to call two-faced. At the first day of the scouting combine, this is when, head coaches, GMs, they're going to address the media. They're going to, talk about and address various things that have happened during the offseason, such as coaching decisions, such as player decisions, draft strategies, what they've thought about certain things. They're going to address a whole bunch of questions. Well, at some point during the process, when Ben Johnson was in front of the, camera, in front of the microphone, he was asked a question. And the answer that he gave, I'm just going to say this right now. It was, as the title states, it was an insult where it slighted Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions in a sense by primarily slapping Goff in the face, pretty much. What am I talking about? What exactly is this quote? This is the quote exactly that Ben Johnson made. I'll read it to you verbatim as soon as I can flip my paper. Here's the quote. The quote says, and this is what he's talking about. Let me establish that first. He's talking about Caleb Williams and his escapability concept. So this is what Johnson said. He said, as much as you want to make it pure progression, there's just too much variety. To have an athlete like Caleb extend the play and potentially find an explosive down the field, that's what gets me going. I get excited thinking about that because I haven't really been around that since I've been in the league. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. That quote would have been completely 100% fine had he literally not said that last bit. I haven't really been around that since I've been in the league. First and foremost, I'm just going to say this right now. There was no real reason he had to say that. Because let me put it out there this way. Other than Jared Goff, who else have you been a quarterback coach for? Other than Jared Goff, who have you been an offensive coordinator for? So realistically, you didn't have to add that little bit there. You kind of added that there for a reason. And again, I know that because Ben Johnson is a meticulous person. He is a very, ridiculously over-detailed person. Nothing just comes off like, oh, you know what, I was just talking off the cuff. No. Now, I know some people are going to call this nitpicking. Some people are going to say I'm reading too much into this statement. But first, let's understand that Johnson just got done, as I said, spending 4 years with Jared Goff, 3 of which he was his offensive coordinator. I have watched many media sessions of Johnson's, but never in the entire time have I heard him talk about Goff the way he just talked about Caleb Williams. He said that, Caleb Williams' escapability, looking for explosives, that gets him going, it gets him excited. I'm like, where have I never heard this from? And for me, that plus the other part of the quote is just kind of like, okay, you're taking a very, very indirect shot at Goff without necessarily saying it. Because the reason why I have a problem with this is that Goff, for lack of a better phrase or term, without Jared Goff, Ben Johnson does not become the guy he is. And the fact that he's taking such an indirect shot at Jared Goff is, I think, a severe amount of disrespect towards him. Because it's like, listen, what was Ben Johnson before Jared Goff? Oh, that's right. He was, in essence, a nobody. He was a coach with a mediocre profile prior to Jared Goff. If you don't believe me, take a look at what his freaking coaching posts were. He was at best a position coach. But then all of a sudden, once Jared Goff comes on the scene, once Dan Campbell retains him, keeps him as the tight ends coach, and then becomes the passing game coordinator, then they elevate him to the offensive coordinator, now all of a sudden he's on this fast track to become this hotshot head coach. And I'm going to say this right now. I don't have a problem with what Johnson did as far as talking up his young quarterback. I truly don't. You want to know why? Because in one sense, he is the head coach. That's his job. His job is to try and instill confidence in his young quarterback. Because, well, let's just think about it here. His young quarterback just got the ever-living hell beat out of him last year. He got his ass handed to him on a proverbial and quite literal silver platter. That's how bad it was last year for Caleb Williams. So, in one sense, it's Johnson's job to instill confidence and soothe his kind of, shattered ego. That's kind of part of what Ben Johnson has to do here. So in that essence, I can understand that. But rather, what my problem is here is that Goff really gave no props. He gave no kudos. He gave no real mention of how great Goff was or any credit about how Goff helped elevate him. Because think about this, folks. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but didn't Ben Johnson used to say that that the offense is an extension of me and Goff an extension of it? Like, hey, you know what? We're both for credit for what's going on here. But it's like ever since Goff and him have split because of the fact that he decided to go to Chicago, it's almost like as if Ben Johnson has taken this mindset of, oh, it's all because of me. It's all because of what I did. Because I've never heard him once really give credit to, what Goff was able to do for him. What Goff was able to help him provide with that offense. Oh, sure, he's given credit to other people. He's definitely thanked Dan. He's definitely thanked the Lions organization and all that. But in this particular instance, when it's like, hey, if you're going to talk about your current quarterback, you might want to do something to remind people that, yeah, your previous quarterback also was a pretty damn good one too. Because let me put this out there for y'all. Regardless of what any of you might think about me being, some kind of way about this, Johnson prior to Goff was a guy that was struggling to advance in the NFL. Again, let's remember something here. Before Matt Patricia hired him, he was sitting on his butt at home on the couch wondering if he even had a future in coaching left. That's how ridiculously bad things were for Johnson at one point. So this idea that all of a sudden that, Johnson just is this great coach, it's like, wait a minute here. Let's understand how the actual back history, the backstory is here. Because it's like, this guy went from being an obscure position coach to a hotshot offensive coordinator. Now he's kind of gone to being a disrespectful head coach towards his former team. Because let's think about this, folks. Ben Johnson as the offensive coordinator with Jared Goff. What was Jared Goff doing in those 3 years when Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator? This is what he was doing. We went 9-8, 12-5, 15-2 as a team, won 2 division titles, won 2 playoff games, and we also got the number 1 seed this previous year. But Goff, in those 3 seasons, went 68.1%, which was 4th best out of all quarterbacks, had the most passing yards out of all quarterbacks, had a 7.9 average per throw, which was fourth out of all quarterbacks, had the most passing touchdowns out of all quarterbacks, was tied for 6th in terms of pass touchdown percentage per throw, was tied for 5th in terms of interception percentage per throw, and was ranked 3rd in terms of passer rating. Now, why do I bring those stats up? The reason I bring the stats up is because stats like those, while an argument could be made, and I know some people definitely will make the argument because they have in the past, that Johnson has helped Goff, let's understand something here. The sheer volume of those numbers, number 1 in passing yards, number 1 in passing touchdowns, number 3 in passer rating. The sheer volume and the efficiency of those numbers tells a much different story. Because let's put this into perspective here. Johnson can call the plays all he wants. But I seem to recall John Morton in an interview not that long ago. He's like, listen, there are times that we will call the wrong play, but the players will make it work all the same. Let me pose a hypothetical here for you. What's the possibility that, Johnson has called a whole bunch of wrong plays, but Goff has saved his ass out on the field? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but how many times have we heard Goff go out on the field and he'll call kill, or he'll call some different other play because he doesn't like what he sees? You can't tell me that that's not a possibility. But also, let me put it out here for you this way, folks. If you truly think about it, just for a second, who's the guy that's actually on the field that's making the plays? Who's the guy that's actually on the field making the reads? Sure as hell ain't Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson can't do that crap. That would be Goff. Ben Johnson can do all the freaking coaching that he wants. But honestly, where it all happens is on the field with the guy that's got the helmet on. And that's why when you have this conversation about, it's all because of the coaching that Goff is the way he is, bull crap. If it was all about the coaching, then you know what? I could probably go out and I could probably get the worst quarterback that has ever played football, put him with a guy like Ben Johnson, and somehow he would turn into gold. That's not the way it works. It is not even close to the way it works. But let's just keep going down this gravy train. Let's also consider the fact that Johnson, in that quote that I said earlier, wants to, in essence, kind of say that Goff was a hindrance to him. Because, again, he's talking about how Caleb Williams has this escapability and how, he has the ability to look down the field and get explosives, whether it's running or throwing the ball, whatever. Okay, again, correct me if I'm wrong here, but weren't the Lions and Jared Goff just in charge of an offense that was the number 1 scoring offense this year, which was also 4th most all time? It was the number 2 offense in terms of completion percentage, which as a team was number 2 all time. It was number 2 in terms of most offensive total yards this year, 6th all time. And as a quarterback, Jared Goff was also the number 2 passer rating in the NFL this year, which was for 10th all time as a team. So again, as I already have kind of hinted at here, the fact that Johnson, again, he already had an eye out towards the door. We know that now. He was actively recruiting coaches to go to his coaching staff once he got a head coaching job in the middle of the season. So his intention was not a wholly 100% on the Lions and getting them ready to play. He had his eye and he had his attention distracted elsewhere. But yet, despite that, the offense still put up record numbers. Oh, and by the way, let me put this out there. While Johnson can say he definitely had a hand in that, let's look at who should probably get the majority of the credit, seeing as how, that's right. This guy was not concerned about what his next job was. This guy was not concerned about his next interview. This guy was not concerned about recruiting another guy to his coaching staff. That would be Jared Goff. Jared Goff finished last year number 2 in the NFL in completion percentage, which was also, by a quarterback, the 4th best completion percentage in a season all time. It's a top 5 completion percentage by a quarterback for an entire season all time. Jared Goff also finished second in the NFL in total passing yards, finished second in the NFL in pass average per throw, finished fourth in the NFL in freaking passing touchdowns, finished third in the NFL in pass touchdown percentage, finished second in the NFL in passer rating, and finished sixth in the NFL in QBR. So let me put this out there for you. Ben Johnson can say all the hell he wants about how, oh yeah, I'm really excited, really this, that, and the other thing about Caleb Williams and, the fact that he can escape and extend plays, blah, 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 and, that's all that excitement. But I'm going to tell you this right now. All I can say for Johnson and this whole thing you want to know, get going about the escapability aspect, and pretty much you want to make a slight dig at freaking Jared Goff and, want to completely forget all the crap that Goff helped you with, let me try and point something out here for you. I would love to see Caleb Williams escape this that's upcoming. Number one, the inevitable frustrations that Caleb Williams is going to have learning your offense. Because how many times have I heard that Ben Johnson's offense is ridiculously complex? There's a lot to that offense. And, oh, that's right, you just had your rookie quarterback with a guy that is supposedly a lot less complex who struggled mightily for his rookie year. It might not have shown up in the stats, but anybody who watched the Bears play, yeah, it was a struggle. It was hard to watch. So there's that because, oh, that's right. Wait a minute here. Caleb Williams is, going only into his second season, whereas Goff is an established veteran, top 5 quarterback, easily one of the best in the NFL. So, yeah, good luck dealing with escaping that because I guarantee you this, there's going to be frustrations, there is going to be growing pains. And then, to build off of that, try and escape the fact when that he is a young quarterback who is still learning the position, now has to learn this super complex offense, is going to start missing those easy reads that you so took for granted with Jared Goff. Because with Goff, it was like, listen, 9 times out of 10, he's going to find the right guy and it's going to be automatic. You would be lucky if you're going to get half of that with Caleb Williams. You're going to be lucky. Then you got this one. Good luck with Caleb Williams escaping the fact when the offense you have starts failing because, oh, that's right, you still have not fixed your offensive line. Let's call it for what it is. The offense that you have is going to be predicated a lot on the quarterback making the right decisions. Well, wait a minute here. In order to make the right decision, he needs time. And in order to have time, he has to have a solid offensive line. Your offense is about as close to solid as water. And I mean that in the liquid state, not solid state. You literally have got a ridiculously fluid offensive line that has very little means of protecting your quarterback. The reason I know that is because, oh, that's right. If I recall correctly, wasn't Caleb Williams the most sacked quarterback last year, or at least in the top 3? Oh, and then to build off of that one, kind of the way I've been building off each point one by one, try and have Caleb Williams escape our defense at full health because, oh, that's right, our defense is coming to bury him and to bury your offense and to get revenge for your disrespect, not only towards the team, but towards the fans, and now towards Jared Goff. Just saying. It's like, again, with every passing, day, week, month, all Ben Johnson keeps doing is just twisting that knife just a little bit more. And it's like, okay, trust me, we have nice long memories. And I guarantee you this, we will remember when it comes our time to stick it to you. Because trust me, it's coming sooner than you think. But anyway, I'm going to end this episode, and with that, I just want to say thank you all for watching yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, highly encourage you all to watch the next episode. Also encourage you all to do one of these 3 things, like, comment, and subscribe. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, I want to highly encourage you all, please, make sure you hit that bell notification icon so that you guys never miss any more content that I push out. Also encourage y'all please to share this content with your Lions friends and family members. Share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you possibly can. And with that being said, to everybody, whether it's your first time watching me, you guys have been watching me forever and a day, I hope you all enjoyed the content. I hope you all got something out of it. Also hope everybody out there's got something in their life that makes them happy, makes them smile. God bless, my friends. And until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.